I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am fuming. I'm really, really, really annoyed. Eberechi Eze is part of CAA Base Limited. If you don't know who that is the agency that majority of Tottenham's squad and coaching staff are part of. Eberechi Eze is also part of the same agency. Every time Tottenham have played Crystal Palace in recent years, he's been given a box for his family to watch the game at. He's got very close relationships with some of the players in the squad. But guess where he's joining? Eberechi Eze is going to be an Arsenal player. And that right there boils my piss. Arsenal have got a fantastic squad, but they're strengthening it with Victor Gyökeres, with Mosquera, with Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's a very good backup goalkeeper, with Madueke, with Zubamendi, and now potentially with the departures of Zinchenko, Reiss Nelson, and Trossard, which I'll get onto in a minute, it enables them to go out there and buy Eberechi Eze and the winger. Now, there's a lot of names who potentially that left winger could be. Is it going to be Newcastle's Anthony Gordon? He's a name that keeps popping up. Is it going to be long-term target Rodrygo? Or is it going to be Portuguese international Rafa Leao? We've got a lot to break down this video. If you haven't already and you enjoy the content, please drop a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. We are less than 500 subscribers away, guys, from hitting 70,000. The road to 100K is on. Watch-alongs are back tomorrow. It's Tottenham versus Arsenal. It's another North London derby during pre-season. But to be honest with you, even though it's a North London derby, I think a lot of these players are going to treat it like it's a very, very big deal. And as a Tottenham fan, looking at Victor Gyökeres making his debut against us terrifies me. Because you're talking about a guy that's got nearly 100 goals in the last 2 seasons, over 100 GA in the last 2 seasons, got Champions League experience. That Arsenal fan should be over the moon, ecstatic with that, you know? And their transfer window could get a lot better very, very quickly. Fabrizio Romano said once Gyökeres has been finalised and he is an Arsenal player, they will turn their attention to Eberechi Eze. Well, I guess he wasn't lying, was he? Because for some reason, some people today still doubt one of the best transfer sources out there. Now, this is what Ben Jacobs said on the, I think, 26th of July. He's quote tweeted it with more information. But just to cast your mind back, he said Arsenal still have Eberechi Eze high in their thinking as exclusively revealed. Some initial talks have taken place with Crystal Palace, who made it clear Eze's 60 million plus 8 million release clause would need triggering or matching. AFC have now considered whether to make a bid and to try a lower number, that position. Eze remains keen on the move. Now, Eze has reportedly, according to various different sources, agreed personal terms. Eze has told his family he wants the Arsenal move, according to reports. Eze's dream is to play for Arsenal. He has said this on videos before. You're getting a Premier League proven player, a player that has turned up in some of the biggest games in club football, scoring the winner in the FA Cup final against Manchester City to win Crystal Palace their first ever FA Cup, their first ever major honour. So this guy has a pedigree for turning up in some of the biggest games. And then Ben Jacobs comes out today saying Arsenal are in talks with Crystal Palace over Eberechi Eze. Palace seeking Eze's release clause triggered or matched. As per Ed Aarons, Palace want 35 million up front in any deal. Eze remains keen on a move, and Arsenal bid outside the clause is still anticipated. Do you know what I hate? Do you know what I hate so much in football? Is a player that you really like, a player that you watch, a player that you have seen develop into a fantastic footballer is now joining your arch rivals. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's tough to take because from Tottenham's perspective, we haven't had a good window. We lost out on Morgan Gibbs-White. We've signed a young Japanese defender and we've signed Mohamed Kudus. We're playing Arsenal tomorrow who have been more, they're adapted to the humidity of the Singapore heat, of the Hong Kong heat. They've had more games out in Asia. They've played AC Milan. They've played Newcastle. We couldn't beat Wickham or Luton, and we've now got to play Arsenal and Newcastle with Victor Gyökeres making his debut. It's not looking good, is it? Let's just be brutally honest. But Eberechi Eze, for me, is going to be a fantastic player for Arsenal. It doesn't matter if he was going to Arsenal, if he was going to Newcastle, if he was going to Chelsea. It would not matter. For me, he is a fantastic player. An absolutely fantastic player. He really, really is. I think he's got all the credentials to go to Arsenal, play out left wing, play in the 10, play as an attacking 8, score goals, create goals. And Arsenal's system is going to be get the ball to Gyökeres in and around the 18-yard box as much as you can. Did you guys see the goal he scored in training? It's honestly obscene. Whips it, top bins, barely any backlift. Just a joke. Now, what Arsenal fans should be very optimistic about as well is Leandro Trossard's departure, Reiss Nelson's departure, and as well as that, on top of that, Zinchenko. Now, Zinchenko, according to Ben Jacobs, who again, one of the most credible sources out there, Fulham have made an initial approach to sign Alexander Zinchenko. Fulham have been in talks with the players' camp since early June, and they are now considering making a formal bid. What is it with Arsenal selling their former players to Fulham? Leno, Iwobi, right, is a former Arsenal player. I know he didn't directly go from Arsenal. You've also got Smith Rowe, Willian. I think he went on loan. Reiss Nelson, who's literally on the verge of joining Fulham on a permanent, and now Zinchenko. They've been in talks to the players' camp since early June, and they are now considering making a formal bid. Arsenal value the player around £15 million. I'm not going to lie, that is a bit of a steal. In this market, Zinchenko is not a fantastic defender, but he's a very good technical footballer. He's very good at going forward. He can play in midfield. He can play like he does for his national side. He's a very experienced player. He's 28 years of age. He's got, in terms of Premier League appearances, I think he's got well over like 145 Premier League appearances, Champions League experience, FA Cup experience, won a lot of trophies. I think that is an absolute steal for Fulham. 15 million quid helps them get the funds to go and buy an Eberechi Eze. And not only that, it looks like Leandro Trossard is another player that is going to be leaving very, very soon. There's a handful of Premier League clubs that are interested. And he says Leandro Trossard is increasingly likely to leave Arsenal, having attracted interest from Borussia Dortmund and Premier League clubs. The sale of Trossard would help fund the move for a left winger and Eberechi Eze. Now, this is what's most important. A left winger and Eberechi Eze. Now, I personally think the left winger will be one of three players. Leao, Gordon, and potentially Rodrygo. Now, I think Rodrygo and Leao are more realistic than Gordon. Gordon's a name that keeps coming up. But looking at Newcastle's recent transfer activity, they tried to go for Ekitike. They've brought in Elanga. They've tried to go for Brian Mbeumo. They are on the verge of losing Alexander Isak to Liverpool. I think Gordon will stay. I don't necessarily think that is realistic, but it still could be a possibility. Leao is a name recently that keeps coming up, and maybe because he did actually have quite a good game against Liverpool, quite a good game against Arsenal in pre-season. That might be a recency bias thing where Arsenal fans are looking at him and going, do you know what? He's a good player. The one for me is the most realistic is Rodrygo. He is scheduled to have a transfer meeting at some point this week. It was supposed to be last week. I don't really know what the situation is with him. He was supposed to have a transfer meeting with regards with Xabi Alonso to decide if he's going to depart Real Madrid or if he's going to stay at Real Madrid. I think he's likely right now he does leave Real Madrid. And I think it would be wise because they have also got a Jude Bellingham who's played out wide recently. They've got Brahim Diaz. They've got Arda Güler, who clearly Xabi Alonso rates higher than Rodrygo. Otherwise, Rodrygo would have played more football during the Club World Cup. They've also got Vinny and Mbappe. So if you look at this collectively, Real Madrid already have huge, huge talent. Rodrygo has played out of position for the last 3 or 4 years, constantly out on the right-hand side. His best position for me is left wing, but it's very unlikely he is going to be playing there because they have Vinicius Jr. That being said, Arsenal, once they get Eberechi Eze over the line, I think they will go for Rodrygo. That is my honest opinion. Rafa Leao, they may go for him. I think they may go for Gordon as well. But I personally think, as it stands right now, Gordon will stay at Newcastle and Arsenal will decide out of the two whether it's going to be Leao or Rodrygo. But tomorrow is a massive, massive day. We are doing a watch-along for the game. It is a 12:30 kickoff. Tottenham will be playing up against Viktor Gyökeres. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am not looking forward to it one bit. The game tomorrow is 12:30. Thomas Frank has come out and said it's more than just a friendly. He said in his recent press conference interview. So make sure you're there for that. I'll be live about 12, maybe 12:15. And I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. I am